It is warm. It's winter. I'm not about to not have the heat on.
I'm not. I just asked the question. Why are you attacking me?
Okay. Hey everyone, it's your favorite CEO, Miss Flo, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Road Rage, where I just go on a tangent about something that pissed me off this week. Now, I have a couple of guests with me today. Most of you guys already are familiar with Aneara.
Hello.
And I have a new guest, kind of new. I've interviewed her for Neon Mike, the last episode. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out and support her endeavor of creating a self-learning website. Mango! Say hi, Mango! I really appreciate you guys for coming on the show, because today's topic, or the thing that I'm ranting about today, is the lack of awareness around autism and being neurodivergent. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, interesting enough, I speculate, and I'm a heavily emphasize speculate, because I haven't received an official diagnosis, but it's a strong possibility that I'm neurodivergent. And there is girl, it's official. It's we went over the list. Well, okay, let me rewind before we dive into the video game. So earlier this week, I was talking to one of my former students. Shout out to Saquon. And he received a diagnosis that he's on the spectrum from autism. And as he was going through the list that his therapist went through, I was like, oh, I kind of do some of that stuff too. And then we just looked it up on the internet. We found this website that gives you the details of how you would fall into that category. And it was like, it's making sense. Now keep in mind, I've always speculated that may be neurodivergent. And it's just interesting. I think what's really throwing me off is damn, I wish it was kind of caught a little bit earlier, and I had a better understanding of it. And to be honest, there needs to be more conversations around it. What's really interesting is that I'm also talking to another former employee and friend, Marcel, and we're talking to this, and no surprise. And it's yeah, Flo, I figured you were already like that. It's okay. Cool. Yeah, and yeah, we discussed it with you. So you may fall into that spectrum as well. Mango, if you don't mind, when I started posting about this stream, what made you want to be part of this conversation?
Honestly, I like Mario Kart. I like the stuff that you have to talk about. Your talking points are always really intriguing, and they're different from what I hear from literally every other person. And today's topic, it being neurodivergent, I've always suspected I might be neurodivergent. I've gotten testing for ADHD, but they couldn't confirm it because other health issues got in the way. Not that they denied it, but they didn't approve it either. So I'm excited to see what you have to say. Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I'm neurodivergent.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is right now is just me self-diagnosing. If you may speculate that you may be neurodivergent, maybe this may encourage you guys to go see a professional that's their specialty, and which I'm going to do during winter break, because because I also heard you get some perks. I saw a post where they were oh, if you have autism or some type of disability, I think you could get go into national parks for free. Like, there's an application, there's a form, and you go. So if that's the case, you know, I'll get official diagnosis and just kind of milk it for what it's worth.
Ooh.
To be like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna. That's the benefit. I'll just look at. Sometimes you gotta look at life as half full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's not. Again, it's not just for my general understanding of autism. It's nothing to do with your level of intelligence. That may be like a separate disability. It's more like it's a social disorder. Like, there's sometimes where you may not be able to pick up certain social cues or know how to interact with people in certain situations. And like, looking back on my life, there's probably some times where when I was younger, I may have misread some things, or, you know, there's been some very awkward moments like, oh, as we were going through the list and just kind of like speculating at this point, I was also just sort of like how wide the net is. I think the greatest misconception of being neurodivergent is like, it may be like so few or not that many people affected by it, but people don't understand, like, when we say spectrum, it's just like a lot of people can fall within this category. But the funny thing, as we were going through the diagnosis, was the fact, like, people couldn't. So apparently most people can't dream or remember their dreams or picture things in their head.
That's the one that really like shocked me, because like I'm thinking that everybody dreams. Like, I'm thinking that's like the standard of going to sleep. Like, what do you just see like black?
Like darkness. It like, that's just so weird, because I have very vivid dreams, and oftentimes, like, do you get deja vu?
Yes, a lot. I get a lot.
What? Because I get that too, and it's just like, oh, I'm thinking that's like a form of being psychic. I was like, nope. What if being neurodivergent is like a superpower?
It is.
There you go. That could be. Like, Mango, do you get dreams, or do you dream a lot? Do you remember your dreams?
Yeah, my dreams are always weird though, like going to a hot dog stand and getting ice cream type weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I hate the coin thing. I feel like that's such a useless item, and I just don't understand. And I hate it when it's like, when you're in first place and that's all they give you. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather. Okay, let me try. What are we feeling? And maybe around like next payday, I'm gonna download the other maps.
I just like used to standard ones.
Yeah, I came with the game. Let's try this. Let's go. All right, so, and it was like we also talked about like visualizing.
Hopefully, I beat you this time.
Yeah,
That's
it was a struggle.
It was a struggle.
You made me look good. I appreciate it. So no, it was like the apple. So if someone were to tell you, like, when you think of an apple, do you picture the word or the image?
But why would I picture the word?
Unless like I'm spelling it.
Yeah.
It's like, if you tell me like apple, I'm gonna think of the image of an apple. So, but apparently most people can't do that. Wait. I need to find a way to like maybe also look up a Mario Kart. Because I also think like when I struggle on Mario Kart, it's because like maybe the screen is too small and I'm missing certain things. Maybe. Ooh. No, I'm regretting like to like.
I'm behind you.
Because it's just why it's so easy for me to fall off the track. It's no, like I just need. Can I just stay on the track? That's all I ask. Is that part of? Is that part?
I don't know, but I'm very like I have very sucky kind of shit.
I feel like that's me too. Like I hate my handwriting.
Yeah.
So like it's gotten better because I found like tricks to it. Like my mom would give me like fatter pins, and apparently that helped me.
The whole thing about it is like, I feel like writing books growing up, like writing
Same.
books about A's and diversity, and I don't know if that like that didn't take heed or like I just forgot how to do it.
Break.
Oh,
We're both like at the bottom. No? This is at a very low bar. No, but the whole like you can't really like picture things in your head, or even okay. So this is the other one, like visualizing an apartment. So, like if someone to tell you when you think of an apartment, do you think of what the apartment looks like, or do you think about the actual physical address? It's like, what do you think?
I don't know.
Mango.
Repeat that again. Sorry.
So, like, if someone to tell you to think of an apartment, like, do you think of what the physical apartment looks like or the address?
Oh yeah, no, I'm a very like spatially aware person. Like yesterday I went to my girlfriend's house. I was there for maybe a few hours. I memorized the entire layout, and I will probably never forget it.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, it makes no sense. Like, if you tell me to visualize the thing of an apartment, I'm not gonna inherently think of the address unless like that's where I want to go. I'm gonna naturally think about the layout of the apartment, because I also like to decorate, and like I had a vision of like what my place is gonna look like.
Oh yeah, I've definitely when I first moved to college and it came to decorating my side of the room, I feel like I had stuff saved in my like Amazon stuff wish list, I had like mapped out how I wanted my stuff to look, where I wanted my poster to go, and my LED lights and stuff like that, like very organized. And that's like I'm like balancing on both of those sides, because I can be very organized and then I can be very messy.
Same. It's like I have a certain way, like I know where I can find and put things. Yeah. Like majority of the time. But and everybody else is like it's dysfunction. Ooh, well.
And that's where a lot of people like to call it, like when they see the way I like to put my stuff, they like to call it messy. I can see that, but I know what my shit is. That's I know what my stuff is.
You curse on here, it's fine. Okay. We're not sponsored yet. That's it. So yeah, it was just like, and I ain't gonna lie, I started asking my students the same question, and I was like, oh, yep. Because there were some people I had speculated of being on the spectrum, and when they were like saying yes to like visually seeing things in their head, I was like, oh, okay.
I have a little cousin, and he's on the spectrum, and what I've noticed with him and some other friends that have autism is that they typically find it really hard to get invested in a lot of things, but when they do get invested in one thing, they cannot stop learning about it and loving it. Like, he loves trains and cars, and he knows more about trains and cars than his dad, who's a mechanic, at like 13 years old.
Yeah, and I've kind of noticed that with some of my students, like those that are neurodivergent and that are really into journalism, like they will read the manual that I gave them, they'll follow the YouTube channels that I recommend, they'll want to take the camera home and to get like as much practice as possible, like really dependable kids that I could use for my program. So I will be reaching out to everybody with a neurodivergent diagnosis and recruit them from the program. See, you know what I mean? That's what I gotta do. That's how you gotta think ahead. You gotta realize like it's not like yeah, depending on where you are in the spectrum, it could be like such a huge advantage, to be honest. And that's something that people have to put in consideration. Instead of looking at it like something to be negative or like to be ashamed of, because I feel like only a certain part of the spectrum, I think, gets represented or like just shown. And I don't think that, that's not fair. It feels like it's the most extreme to where they're like nonverbal or that's a good question. Like, Jesus is on my side. Yes. But, I feel like... Okay. So, but, like... Yeah, I think there is a lack of representation when it comes to autism. I think with The Good Doctor, he is like... Is it The Good Doctor?
Yes.
Yeah, where he's autistic.
Yeah, but he's like... a genius in the medical field, but he's just so like not human-like very robotic, and that's just, I feel like that's the part of the spectrum that they play to most. Or like Billy with was it the 2017 Power Rangers?
Yes.
And it was like very nerdy, very just maybe be prone to bullying.
Are you talking about the Black Power Ranger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they made put him on the spectrum, and I'm like, I think we may have to make it a little bit more versatile, because we were also talking about one of the sides of autism is just having a strong fixation or obsession, and we were just is that the whole anime community? Is that fandom in general? And how do we
differentiate?
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure it can't be everybody in the fandom. Everybody in the convention has, or somewhere on the spectrum.
That's why it's a spectrum.
I mean, yeah, but it just, I think it's my whole thing is how wide is the net?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. You don't want to say if you like this one thing, you can't just be out here diagnosing people, because everybody can't.
Because sometimes you can just the show, okay, this also is the Beehive and their obsession with Beyonce. Does that also count?
Watch Torn.
That was my other thing. Is the main character from S'more?
I thought she was.
Is she coded to be on the spectrum?
I feel like I got
Mango, did you see S'more?
Swarm or S'more?
S'more. It's
No,
on
what is
Amazon. If you haven't seen it, it does poke fun at the Beehive, as you have this fan that is very obsessed with this Beyonce-esque superstar, and basically just starts killing people who either disrespects the queen or it somehow just gets in her way. It is a very dark comedy. Donald Glover,
he never doing one episode.
I thought he wrote it. Did he not write that?
No.
Who wrote it?
It's a woman. I don't know her name.
Sounds more like Taylor Swift fans.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just so it's everybody that is a Swiftie, part of the Beehive. What is Nicki fans?
They're the Barbs.
The Barbs.
Oh my God! Don't say anything about the Barbs. They're crazy.
But I'm just saying, this is kind of fascinating to me, because it's I know some people that just like things to like things. You could be a fan of a show, you could like an artist's music. But if it's like the deepest like obsession, does that still fall within being neurodivergent, or is that like considered something else? Like, you know what I mean? I wish I could like find a psychiatrist to be part of the conversation.
He wrote for one episode, but he's like, there's like other writers besides him. He's just like the biggest name on the show.
Right. I feel like having like this sweet canyon shot. But you know what I mean? It just has me like kind of wanting to look more into things, and also like certain tics, not tics, but like something form of comfort. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Saquon say noticed like when I was teaching him, like I often would like play with my hair. I noticed recently, like I would like squeeze my keys, or you know, the what is it? The cap, the lens cap. I would often like start squeezing that while, you know, working at an event. So I was like, I'm trying to think when I was younger if there was anything that I did. Also, this was another sign that kind of like blew my mind. So apparently not everybody has an inner monologue, or could like hear their own voice. And I'm just like, huh?
What about people that talk out loud to themselves?
I did that too when I was young.
I did that.
I'm just like, that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, there are just so many things. Like other people can't do that, or like, so that also begs the question, like, you know, when you read like text messages in a group chat, do you just be reading it, or do you hear like the person's voice? I feel like sometimes I hear if they have a very distinctive voice.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'll even read it, say it out loud. Like it's this one. I was talking to Quincy and I would read it and have people talk.
Break. No.
Do you guys ever, when you're talking to someone with like an accent, like you just unknowingly start to mimic their accent?
Yeah.
I thought you were right, babe.
And I try not to do that, especially.
I want to be rude.
Yeah, I tried like so hard. But
get out of here, please.
Like, no, I will not be. I hate when that happens, when somebody just cuts you off right before you get like an item. Can I? It's this ramp. No!
The green strat.
The what?
The green shell strat.
I know how this is about to end. You're gonna top me in the next one.
Even back and forth.
The green shell strat is when you hold on to the green shell and you don't throw it. So when a red shell or something comes up behind you, it breaks the green shell and you keep going.
I tried that. It's just hard to hold sometimes. Like when you have to like really hold and press it. I'm not doing this. I know, like, that is like such a treacherous. Bowser's Castle. Let's go with that. Okay. But that really got me. It's like people really don't be hearing their own voices in their head.
I've always felt that was kind of strange to like.
But you know what, we see that in anime all the time.
I be like doing my inner monologue and thinking of in my head, and then sometimes I'll say what I'm thinking out loud, like accidentally, and then I'll be like, ooh, and that's about. So I don't know if that's like a part of like a syndrome or.
or just like a gaffe, and that's something out of sitcom, to be honest. Like, oh, did I say that out loud? The quiet part out loud? I don't know, you like that.
Just feel
That just gagged me because, like, why can no one else hear their own voice? Because I feel like that's something that most people can do, but it's just like, I think it was that and the dream one that really got me, because we have like dream dictionaries that come out.
So I'm thinking like everybody could dream. Like, that's weird.
You know, I mean, I understand, like, so Inception is just, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's science fiction. It's even more science fiction now.
I know.
Yeah, and I guess Freddy can't get y'all.
Oh my gosh. Like, I remember one vivid dream, like, I had, is that, like, Freddy Krueger was chasing me down the alleyway. And, like, his eyes were, like, long as hell, like, trying to touch me. And I couldn't move. I was running, but I wasn't going anywhere.
Oh.
And then, like, I woke, he was like, and then I woke up.
Yeah, like, I'd be, like, really, like, in a dream, or, like, I think my mom said, like, I was talking in my sleep.
Apparently I snore. I'm shocked by that.
I think that's sleep apnea. Possibly.
Oh, I got the bullet.
Can I stay on the road?
Have you looked into dream therapy at all?
No, I just like do the dream books. So there's like a so I understand, like, sometimes you may not always remember your dreams.
Bullet.
Like I get that part, unless like it's something like very like traumatic or something like super intense. But like I always have a sense of deja vu, like this looks vaguely familiar, or something that like I dream about, and apparently that's like that may be part of the spectrum. It's crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
The crazy thing is you're winning. Like,
Yay!
oh, it's over?
It's like we gonna get a trophy unless like we're in top 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I still want to know.
Does your inner voice ever change when you're experiencing like a really intense emotion?
I think sometimes, yeah.
Like pitch? Or like person?
I think tone.
Tone?
I think it's, if I'm thinking, like, you ever think like a past argument, and then you try to like think about like different ways it could have went if you would have just thought to say this, that, and the third.
Oh, I did that sometimes. And sometimes I like argue out loud. But see, I don't know what that is. That's probably a spectrum mannerism, but like I'll like say what I wanted to say out loud. Like, fuck you, bitch. Or something like that. Or say.
Or even you think of a really good read.
Rebuttal, yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot when I'm showering. I'm like, dang, I could have said that. It's like an argument from 2 months ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like maybe is that also part of like over-accessing?
From 5 years ago. Anyways.
But yeah, I was just like, it was just really interesting to go through that list. Hold on. Let me see if I can go through that list right now really quickly, because it just is so fascinating to me. Okay, so this first part of the spectrum. Okay, it says persistent defects in social communication and social interaction across multiple contexts, as manifested by the following currently or by history. Examples of illustrative or non-exhaustive. So, defects in social and emotional reciprocity. I may be mispronouncing that. Ranging, for example, from abnormal social approach and failure of normal back and forth conversation to reduce sharing of interest, emotion, or affect to failure to initiate or respond to social interactions. I feel like in terms of that, I'm pretty good at going back and forth. But I also notice, like, if I have nothing else to say,
I'm not going to say
it. But is that maybe considered not going back and forth? And I do that with my mom a lot, too. Like, she'll be like, are you even listening? Like, just saying that you don't want to talk. It's like, you gave me nothing to add. You're just talking. I don't know what to give you.
Yeah, I did.
There's just, I mean, does people just be talking to be talking?
Yes. All that chat that you snuffed.
Oh my god. Okay. Defects in nonverbal communicative behaviors used for social interaction ranging, for example, from poorly integrated verbal and nonverbal communications to abnormalities in eye contact and body language, or defects in understanding and use of gestures, to a total lack of facial expression and nonverbal communication. I remember this one time a teacher was concerned that I may have autism because I didn't smile a lot. Like, I just have resting face. But,
oh my gosh.
But I just thought I was taking after my dad. Oh my god. What if my dad also? That's where I got it from.
My dad's schizophrenic.
That's not funny.
You laughing though. And then you laughing out loud, so you the one that's gonna get canceled, not me.
Cause why would you just like say
Streamer laughs at possibly autistic.
It's autistic. You said your
possibly
dad is schizophrenic.
Yes, because of schizophrenic father, incarcerated schizophrenic father. You're canceled. How you gonna get out of that one?
Eye contact, I look at people in the eye.
I don't. That's maybe a self-esteem issue. I don't know if that's on.
I just worry, like, I'm trying not to do it too intensely.
I like the ratio, like, I like to ration my eye contact. I'll, like, give you a look. Look away. Wait, no. Look down. Look this way. Look up there. Give you a look.
I would say, if I'm thinking, I notice, like, when I look back at my videos, like, I may intentionally look up. But that's a normal trait because, like, you're trying to retrieve your thoughts, so you're going to naturally look up.
Mm-hmm.
But with my eye contact, I would say it's fairly decent.
Do you look at the camera or yourself?
I say more myself.
Okay.
I also do that in Zoom calls.
I do that too.
It's just like, why
am I
looking at the camera? Like, I just look at me because I'm making sure, like, I look okay. That's maybe more dealing with vanity than autism?
Oh. Just call me bang, y'all.
I mean, I'm in that same boat too, so. Were you about to look at your camera phone?
No.
Where's the next part? And I feel like with body language, I'm good with, like, picking up people's body language. And then sometimes I have to remind myself to, like, posture or sit up or, you know, things like that.
I look taller than you. Nope.
Mango, are any of these, like, what I'm saying is kind of, like, resonating or clicking?
No, yeah. No, it is resonating with me. It's just, I have, like, so many things where it's, like psychology in of itself is not even confirmed as, like, an actual science.
That's so weird. Because I feel like it's
hard. So many things overlap with one another. It's hard to properly diagnose someone.
It's true. I feel like, and that's, like, such a huge problem in this country, is that we don't devote enough resources, and there's not enough psychiatrists or therapists to really go around. I've seen some improvement over the years, like using services like BetterHelp.
No sponsor.
There's not, but like I've used it. I used it before, and you know that was like super helpful. And then when you try to look for free resources, sometimes it's a hit or miss. You asked me what it is.
Like, girl. My experience with therapy, it's been a rocky one, to say the least, because I feel like I was given therapy through my insurance, and I got with an agency where they're like all like very about Christians, so they like to incorporate a lot of Christianity into therapy, which I don't think really mix. I'm like, girl, like, I need help. I'm mentally ill. Like, I need. I just didn't really get, like, what they were telling me wasn't really resonating with me. And then, like, I would, like, ask, I would, like, be, like, telling him, like, really personal things, and they wouldn't be telling me, like, they wouldn't, like, egg it on, like, you know how you, like, have a conversation with someone, like, oh, why do you feel that way, or how do you feel that way, or what are you gonna do, like, or stuff like that. It just would be, like, oh, you need to, like, pray, and make sure, it's like, because God made you the way you are, like, God doesn't make mistakes. And I was like,
okay, that's not what you're here for, though. Like,
yeah,
what can you prescribe me?
I didn't ask for the Bible. I could have had the Bible up on my phone if I wanted to hear all that. That's just all I had to say. I'm like trying to get deep into it. That's why I'm like, everybody, I don't think everyone who is a therapist, no shade, like, I think there's different type of therapy. Different type of therapist. You're not gonna get the same one.
Right.
The same one with everybody.
Facts.
So I might have to start paying for therapy.
What was the next one? It was like defects in developing and maintaining and understand relationships, ranging, for example, from difficulties adjusting behavior to suit various social contexts to difficulties in sharing imaginative play or in making friends to absence of interest in peers. To be fair, most people are kind of terrible. So, I'm just like, I'm being transparent. It's just like, you ever like look at some people and you just be like, no.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm kind of like, is that not a form of discernment where you're just trying to be very selective who's in your circle versus it's like, oh, I could just mingle with anybody. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to be selective.
I thought it was meant like you could be hanging out with somebody for years and then you be like, are we best friends? And they're like, we've been friends for 10 years. Like, what do you mean? That was like me and Manaya. I was like, we're best friends, right? And she's like, so yeah.
But but it's difficult maintaining. Now, I will admit, there's sometimes, like, I made friends in, like, college and so forth, but I don't make a habit of staying in touch. Like, I'm bad with staying in touch with people.
I am too, because, like you said, college, like, my first, like, 2 weeks, I had made a group of friends. I wouldn't even want to call I'm going to say versus we hung out for 2 weeks almost, like, every day those 2 weeks. And then, like, I just stopped hanging out with them. I don't know, like, I guess the connection wasn't there. Or, like, I'm just really bad at, like, they wanted to go to parties. Oh, that's why I remember now. They wanted to go to parties all the time and get wasted. And I was just like, girl, I want to be in my room.
But you have class. You have to study.
I would sleep for 8 hours. And I, like, had missed a party. And then I think, like, me missing that party really showed them that I wasn't really, like, in the group for real. So they just stopped talking to me altogether.
So that's on them, not you. It's like, I think there has to be, like, a conversation of the discernment between, oh, like, I really, like, struggle making friends. Because I feel like once you make connections with certain people, like, if I go to, like, something with Plus Ultra Entertainment where it's, like, a party full of other anime nerds in the fandom that feel like, oh, I could, have a conversation with, whoever, talk about this and that. And I feel
Just like when I went to the K-pop convention. Oh my god. That was so much fun. Like, cause I don't ever really get to meet. Even in high school. Like, I'm 21 now. Yeah. Like, even back then, I went to high school. I went to like a few kids were into K-pop because I got them into K-pop. Well, I'm an actor. Everybody else, I got them into K-pop. But now it's like I'm an adult now. Like, I don't really have friends that are into K-pop. Besides, like, nobody's into K-pop. Even the ones that were into K-pop now, back then, they're not into K-pop anymore. I forgot where I was going with this.
I think the point is just like...
Oh, fixations and feeling included. Yeah.
Or like just finding people that you can easily connect with. And I'm trying to see, like, I feel for like a lot of people that maybe consider neurodivergent, it's like, once you find your connection, it's there. Or you have to like look for certain spots. This is a random thought. Do you think like Discord was made for people that's on the spectrum? Because like there are a lot of niche chat rooms, and I feel like that's how everybody's connecting.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it was. I'm not gonna say it's technically it was made for that specifically, but I think that it's been a tool for people who are neurodivergent to connect with other people and find things that they like and communities that they can be a part of that they want to participate in. Or that's all for anybody.
I could tell you guys what Discord was made for.
Sure, go ahead.
I've been using it since early 2016. It came out in 2015. And basically, the issue with gamers is that a lot of people wanted to play games together, but having some place where you could connect and call each other, it wasn't really well done. They had options like TeamSpeak and Mumble and Ventrilo, and a lot of people use Skype, but people wanted the ability to like have a conversation with multiple friends and make channels and do things, which all four of those apps did separately, but they didn't do what Discord does, which is make a server, make channels, make voice calls. Back in the day, they didn't even have the ability to screen share or turn on your video. There were so many limited options, and throughout the years, it's become less about a thing for gamers and more about a thing for communities.
So it's for the neurodivergent. That's what I got from it. Bruh. I feel like that's what it is. It's just like I feel like that may be like the perfect fit. And I bet, like, as I'm going through this, if you feel like I'm, like, what I'm listing is connecting with you, please say so in the comments or in the chat, because this is, like, truly fascinating to me. Also, when it comes to, this is the other thing that me and Saquon was talking about in terms of, like, adjusting to various social contexts. And that's related to, like, be able to mask. And I feel like, as a black woman, I'm already, like, kind of set in a way to kind of already do that. Whether I find myself... Ever find yourself, like, you have a very lower tone when you're talking to men?
Yes.
Like
it's very meek.
It's very, like, I have a high-pitched voice.
And I hate that. And I hate that because my voice is... Yeah, it can get deep. Yeah. So I don't like, but I also like, I've dealt with people saying that I sound like a little white boy. Or like a little, like a little boy on like, when I get on Discord to play Among Us. Or stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't hear it, but like, I feel like if I could play a little boy in an anime, I probably would. Like the girl did Naruto. Mm-hmm. But anyways, that's off track. But I think it happens naturally. I don't know, because I want to like I don't know. It's just kind of on cue.
I feel like my experience, because some people I guess perceive my mannerisms to be somewhat aggressive or intense. So like there are times where I have to like adjust my tone of voice so people will find comfort. But I think, because I usually do this with like, when I ask IT for a favor.
Oh my gosh.
And then remember,
I'm
like,
gonna do it.
Hey guys, can I get some help?
Or something like that. I'm like, girl, you don't talk like that.
And then Saji clocked it. He was like, oh, your voice sounds different. I was just like, yeah, I was a little bit tired. I was just like, there are times like, oh, but it's like, again,
that's embarrassing.
we were talking about, we and Saquon were talking about, like, there are times where we have to, like, it's code switching, where, like, how we interact with each other in, like, our own Black communities, but where we're in a more diverse space, we have to almost put on, like, an entire different personality to make someone comfortable. And I feel like that's how a lot of Black people are probably, like, underdiagnosed, or, like, that diagnosis gets missed. And as you were saying, Mingo, like, the way some of these symptoms may overlap with each other, it becomes very hard to narrow. Like, we may have one thing, or we may have multiple things at once, and it just becomes like a bit overwhelming, and it makes it harder for people to actually seek help, because it could be a lot of things. It's like a medical mystery that we need to solve, because when it comes to being neurodivergent and it's being like a social disability or a social hindrance, it can impact your personal relationships or your work relationships. Because I know, like, at my job as an educator, I limit my interactions with admin, because the way I deliver and giving my observations of what I see, what goes on in the building, may be perceived somewhat negative. It's very, like, you have to be, it's almost like political. Like, you can't say or do certain things because it may be taken in a negative light. And it's just like, no, I'm telling you something that, like, I notice a flaw, and I know there's a way that may be fixed, but apparently my delivery may come out this way. So I learned to, like, kind of telephone it. Like, I may tell it to certain people that know me and know where I'm coming from, and, you know, understand my demeanor, and may not take offense to it, and then they pass it along to the upper heads. So that's like one way I've learned to kind of manage it on my own prior to, you know, learning that I'm neurodivergent, and some things like I observe it myself. But I understand that it may also hinder me from maybe being in a higher administrator position, because, like, I don't know how to give, like, a softball. I'm just very direct.
Straight to the point.
Like, you know what I mean?
Which I find refreshing. I don't like being snowball.
Or, like, you're sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
It's like, it is what it is. No shade. But
I hate
like,
that a lot of people, like, they want the truth, but then when I tell it to you, you're like, oh, you have to say it like that.
Or it's like they take, like such huge offense to it, and it's like, no, this is a serious critique. The same way y'all critique me on, you know, my skill set, like, this is what I exert, or, like, things I need from y'all. But it's always so negative. It's like, okay. Let me see what we're going into. Severity is based on social communication impairment in restricted repetitive patterns of behavior. So there's, like, maybe, like, different levels to this. So restricted repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities is manifested by or at least two of the following: currently or by history. Stereotyped or repetitive motor movements used by objects or speech. So, lining up toys or flipping objects. There's, like, fidgeting. So, as I was talking earlier, like, I have a habit of, like, fidgeting with my keys. Saquon said, like, I may have a tendency of, like, playing with my hair. Or what I just noticed in the broadcast, like, I keep touching my chin as I'm like thinking and explaining.
I keep going this my chair.
Like going back and forth, like twisting. Mango, do you have like what is it called? Like repetitive motor movements that you may notice with yourself?
Oh yeah, it's something that I don't notice, but other people notice. Um, my dad, he used to shake his leg. He still does, because he was told to do so by a doctor for blood circulation. And as a kid, I would mimic him. And literally, as I was saying that, I started doing it right now. Yeah, so I just, like, if I'm really excited, if I'm just, like, overwhelmed with any emotion or really bored, I'll just shake my leg. And there's times where, like, I'll be on the bed with my mom shaking my leg. She's like, can you please stop? It feels like a mini earthquake.
So, like, if you become, like, because sometimes when I'm, like, very, like, enraged, I'll, like, shake with anger or, like, anxiousness. And, like, it'll be, like, a whole body shake. Like, I'll feel like I won't, like, be able to control it.
I don't think that falls under it. I think like when I get that intense motion as well. I'm not helping the case, but it's just like I get like that intense motion as well. Like it just like disrupts your nervous system and you get like very, very upset. But I think it's referring to like almost like a tick. That's the best way I can describe it. Or like something you would do to help comfort you in a sense. That's what I'm thinking it is. Alright, the next one is something with sameness, inflexibility, and adherence to routine or ritualized patterns of verbal or non-verbal behavior. Extreme distress at small changes, difficulties with transition, rigid thinking patterns, greeting rituals, need to take the same routine or eat same food every day. I don't know if I eat the same food every day. I'll try to do stuff. Like, there maybe it's, like, my favorite restaurants. Yeah. But, like, I do what I can to, like, try to switch it up. I'm okay with... I think transitions throughout my life and different stages of my life, I would say was pretty smooth. What about you, Aneara?
I'm not really big. I like... say it's half and half because like when I transition to new things I always like forget, like I don't know if that's like when I'm using, like say I broke my laptop and like I switched from like a HP Chromebook to a MacBook and then like so like I'm used to scrolling down to like go up, but I'll scroll down and it won't move and then it won't go the direction I'm used to it going. So I'll like I have to like relearn how to use or do that.
But it's not causing extreme distress.
It's not extreme distress. Like something that would cause me extreme distress is like if I can't control my surroundings. I'll say that.
Okay. I would say, yeah. And I also see that a lot with my students as well. Rituals. I would say, like, I have a certain pattern. Like, I know, like, Sundays, that's my cleaning day. Or, like, I would work on stuff for either my publication or school. Or for my work. Let me see. Highly restricted, fixated interests. We talked about that already. So, like, if you are really in anime or you find comfort with those shows. Or, like, if watching something over and over again, you know what I just remember? Living Single. I will do if I see that Living Single is on, I would just leave it there and then, because I saw something about that too on social media. It's like people won't go out their way to watch a new show, but will have a show they've seen a billion times just be on in the background noise because like it soothes them.
Yeah, I do that with A Different World and Glee.
Still Glee after all that happened?
They ain't got nothing like.
But how far in the Glee? Like the first couple seasons?
The first 3 seasons. I don't watch anything past that.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck you, Michelle.
Make sure I didn't lose my voice. Okay. Hyperactivity to sensory input or unusual interest in sensory aspect of the environment, meaning like apparent indifference to pain/temperature, adverse response to specific sounds or textures, excessive smelling or touching of objects, visual fascination with lights or movement. Every time there was a touchdown at the championship game, the lights would just, it wouldn't just flicker, like it would go black and like that intense. And that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It also kind of like startled one of my student photographers who I also suspect is neurodivergent. Again, this is just speculation. I'm just like, yeah, you may want to get tested for that.
You're neurodivergent.
Everybody's neurodivergent. You're on the spectrum. Temperature, I can handle the cold. I think like I'm temperature.
No.
Like
cold, no. It's non-negotiable. I can't handle the cold. I will sit there and jitter. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but as I've grown older, I can't handle the cold at all.
Okay, this is because response to a specific sound. I feel like everybody doesn't like nails on a chalkboard, right?
Yeah. Or like, I don't like styrofoam cups rubbing together. Or like cardboard.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
I don't like plates getting scratched with forks.
No.
Smells. I feel like if it's like, I feel like most smells would get to people. Cause you know, sometimes when you get like an intense whiff of something, you almost taste it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's like, or I guess it depends. Like certain smells, I can't stand cigarette smoke for the life of me.
Yeah, I can't either.
It's like really bad. Touching certain objects. Have you ever touched a snake?
No.
I feel like I really like the way they feel. It's certain textures like I'm like really like fascinated with.
Yeah, I can see that. Like the ones that like flip, like the sequence that like flips back and forth. I like playing with that.
Yeah, or something that's like really plush.
Yes, I love a good plushie.
Like that feels like very comfortable. Okay, so here's some other things. This one also like address masking. Symptoms must be presented in early development period, but may not become fully manifest until social demands exceed limited capacity or may be masked by learned strategies later in life. And like we were saying earlier, I feel like if you are a minority and like in any part of any marginalized group, you're kind of coached and how to code switch. I know some like from some of my LGBTQ students, like they could be gay outside their home, but they have to like pretend to be straight
or cis.
Or in the household. So it's just like, or in certain situations where they may get to feel like it's not a safe space, then they would have to, mask or code switch. So again, that may be a little bit harder for them to be diagnosed. Symptoms cause clinically significant impairment in social, occupational. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's just like, that's why I kind of want to work for myself because I can't interact with certain people at work because I would be perceived.
Oh my gosh, that's why I can't do customer service at all. I was working at a restaurant. But
to be fair, most people are rude. Most people are like very, very rude, and the expectation is that you have to be always courteous. Or how to navigate that.
But my whole thing about it is that, like, you're complaining that I didn't laugh at your husband's joke. That is so, like, what? He's like, my husband she talked to my manager, was like, my husband made a joke and she didn't laugh. And I was like, when did he make a joke? So I don't know if that's the neurodivergent talking or, like, he's just not funny.
Did anybody else laugh around her?
Nobody was. I'm like, they just looking at me. I'm like, do I got some on my face? Like, what's going on?
I mean, part of it is not to be able to get, like, sarcasm, but, like, you're very sarcastic.
I'm very witty.
So, we know a joke when we hear it. Or there be times it's like, I still, like, see a joke and be like, oh, that's funny. But it's not like, it won't be enough to make me, like, really laugh.
Yeah, though sometimes I'll make a joke and you don't laugh, and I'll be like, hit a miss, swing and a miss.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just whatever.
But that was just so crazy to me. Like,
but humor is very subjective.
Yeah.
It's not like people wouldn't, like, get the joke. It's just like, okay, that was...
She tried.
It was funny.
I guess.
But if the joke don't...
I was actually...
Oh, go ahead.
I was actually thinking about this last night. Because in our interview, you know, AI came up a few times. You know, even... I was actually talking about this with my girlfriend earlier, too. I said, you know... Because she wants to be, like, the ideal, perfect girlfriend for me. And I said, that's not realistic. I'm not dating you for you to become what I want. I'm dating you for who you are.
Aww.
And I told her, you know, with computers, you know, you train a computer, right? It'll do that job 100% correct each and every time. And I was bringing up how the perfection of what humanity is our imperfections. So, you know, you can teach AI to pick up on, like, how a smile is related to a positive emotion, but it doesn't understand that. Like, it doesn't understand empathy. It doesn't feel it. You just teach it empathy. So I feel like for some people on the spectrum, you know, it's not so much that they understand like sarcasm or an emotion. It's just they've been conditioned and trained themselves time and time again to pick up on those things. I mean, there's times with my dad, he'll tell me a joke and I don't know he's joking and I get really serious. And he's like, hey, I'm just joking. And I'm like, oh, okay. And, you know, it's just something you have to kind of teach yourself.
Right. But I feel like when somebody says they're joking, I always think they're gaslighting. Because what you didn't mean it was a joke. Like, you were trying to...
You called me fat and ugly. I don't think that was a joke.
I'm just saying. So it's like, sometimes it's like, I feel like for most people... But most people are just kind of weird. Like, and we also talk about this. It's like, some people have this habit of not really saying what they mean and mean what they say. They just
stand on business.
You know what I mean? They're trying to, like, have you read between the lines. Why? Why don't you just say what you want to say? Like, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to take offense to it whatsoever. It's just like, if... I
feel like a lot of people do that when it comes to me. Or, like, it's either because they feel like I'll have, like, a negative reaction. Even though I don't think I'm, like, that... I don't think I'm scary. You're not saying nothing.
What? It's not. I'm used to your behavior because, like, I've known you since, like, you were a freshman. So, like, it's not giving that. I pay attention to people's energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? People go off by appearance because I guess if I'm just... I don't see it now, but I guess if, like, I'm just doing a resting face and I'm just walking, apparently it's very intense to people. But also, you just have men that just, like, want you to smile. And it's like, nobody asked you.
I'm not small and dainty and cower.
And I'm like, I'm not here for you. I'm trying to go to work. I'm trying to go home. What am I smiling for you for?
Could you look up a definition, preferably, like, off the stream, maybe, like, on your phone, just in case something bad comes up? I don't think it will, but it's on Urban Dictionary. It's called Schrodinger's douchebag, and the definition I feel like relates really well to what we're talking about.
Can you look that up? How do you spell it?
Schroeder, and then douchebag. And then go to Urban Dictionary.
What is that?
One who makes douchebag statements, particularly sexist, racist, or otherwise bigoted ones, then decides whether they were just joking or dead serious based on whether other people in the group approve or not.
That's crazy. That's like majority of Fifth Block.
That
actually fits. That really is.
That is. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. That's Fifth Block.
Schrodinger douchebags in your room.
It is what it is. Oop. If it's, we learned a new phrase. Thank you, Mango. Thank you. What I really got from this experience is just like the spectrum, and I think somebody else is pointing this out, like I've seen on social media. It's just like the spectrum isn't linear at all. It's just like, I forgot what the kind of graph is called, but it looks like a spider web. Like, it is a very wide net. And I feel like the best move in diagnosing this is to maybe just like to catch it in childhood, like really test for this. Like, we have a habit in education to test students to see how well they will do on the SAT or their aptitude test and what's the best career for them. But I think to see where people lie in the spectrum, because it may be a greater number than what we have originally thought before. And it needs to be talked about and addressed. And I figure, like, if we catch a lot of people early, and then we can show them, like, certain social skills. Because I feel like the curriculum that the current curriculum that we have in schools is more geared towards, like, going to college. It's not even, most of the time, it's not even really career-based. It's more, like, going to the next level in education. But we just need a course on those social skills, and it could help career-wise, especially with networking. I didn't become really good at networking until like way later in life, especially when like people say like, oh yeah, we should definitely work on a project, and realize like people just talk to talk. Because when I say I'm ready to do stuff, I'm actually ready to go.
I hate that.
And then people just be BSing.
Lollygagging. Pussyfooting.
Like, be on business.
On business.
Like, literally. But I just think that it just shows that more people may have some form of autism. And that we really do need to incorporate in schools how to socially interact, or, you know, have conversations around like building relationships, whether it is with your peers or professional relationships. Like, let that be an actual class, something that students can really use. I always bring it back to education. Why? Because I'm a teacher. Alright, thank you guys so much for another raging episode of Virtual Road Rage. Thank you, Aneara and Mango, for being the guests on the show. In the meantime, it is the holiday season, so if you're looking for a gift for your loved ones, please make sure that you visit the shop at noirneonvibes.org/shop. Get yourself a t-shirt, backpack. I have mugs. I have some like hoodies, sweatpants, the joggers. Everything is unisex because clothes doesn't have gender. What else? Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Noir Neon Vibes, and the Twitch channel so that you can get alerts each time that I stream and when I post stuff.
Can I plug my Instagram?
Go ahead.
Okay, guys, y'all can follow me on Instagram at superduper. Let me just. There you go, right there. Right there. Yeah.
Mango, would you like to plug your Instagram?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. Alright, thank you guys so much, and make sure that you always come and join the conversation because I do want to hear from you all. Did anybody say anything in the chat? Let me go back to it. No, it was empty. It's okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean like that gag, but I gotta show up or whatever.
It's okay. Make sure you tune in next time. I'm trying to get Virtual Road Rage back into like a weekly thing. Life is crazy. But thank you again, you all, for watching, and make sure that you stay safe out there. Buckle up, because it's gonna be right. Okay, bye.